Introfusion is the nature of God in the body. So all body is the way of being. The way of being is dictated by the source of your knowing. The source of your knowing is the way of God within you. Now, it's a little complicated, but we're going to work through that. So when you are seeing yourself as God, what is it that you are seeing that tells you this is God? Anyone want to attempt to answer that? When you are seeing yourself as God, what is it you're seeing that tells you you are God?
It's a feeling of light, I guess is how I feel it.
Feeling of light?
It's kind of once in a while see it, mostly feel it moving through the body like we do in meditation, the golden light.
Okay. And do you feel that out in the world or only in meditation?
Out in the world as much as I can.
Okay.
If I don't feel it, it doesn't feel so good, so now I try to stick with it.
That is right. That is right. Now there's 3 things that you said. 1, that God is light. 2, you make it happen in the world. And 3, it feels bad when it's not there. Okay? So the importance of that is knowing that introfusion is a cooperative. It's a coexistence, a communication. It's a focus for the coordinating effort between you and the being that made you. Now, when we say the being that made you, we're not talking about the you that is this body, because that also was a coordinated effort between you and God. We're talking about the individuation of the nature of God. So if you imagine God being the all-being, all life, all force, all greatness, all universe, all things, all cells, you are an individuated version of that said to God, I am. So you are an organized acknowledgement of something unique. Do you understand that? You are an organized thought from the nature of God that is unique enough to be an individuated being. Okay? So when you acknowledge that in the life of the form, which is this body that you're being, when you acknowledge that, what you're saying is, I have a purpose. I have a purpose. There's a reason I have individuated from the great source. What is that reason? Every single one of you, and I want to see a raise of hands, who's had a reading with me? How many? Every single one of you has a unique and special message from God, don't you? Thank you. What that tells you is that you multiply that times 47 billion people. Imagine them knowing their purpose and living it as each one of you are working toward your purpose. Are you imagining it? It's freaking incredible. It's a totally different world. It's a world that doesn't exist, for one, but it's a world that could exist. So the reason that we're saying this in this way is that once you get on the path of your sense of purpose and you infuse that path with the power and energy of the nature of God, you become the walking being from which you came. From which you came. You are not separate from it. You're still it. You just have to remember. And the only reason that I'm here in front of you talking today is because people forget and need to be reminded. And so my purpose is to be a reminder. And each one of you are also a reminder, but in a completely different way. I'm a scribe. I work with language. And language from God comes through me. But I had to work it, just like each one of you are going to work your purpose. So do you have sort of an understanding of thank you, introfusion and why it's important? Okay, good. Any questions about that? Not yet. Okay, we will continue.